What's up? It's RJ. Welcome back to another video. And today we're gonna try something new. We've got a new camera set up so I can sit at my desk. This is the command station. You guys can't see everything, but as I've mentioned in previous videos, I play video games. I'm an internet marketer by trade, and this is kind of like my whole battle station right here. I'll share it with you guys sometime, but I've got 3 monitors right here. I've got my computer tower over here. I've got the PlayStation. I've got my MacBook. This is just like it's where all the magic happens. I guess like they used to say on cribs for those of you who are as old as I am. But nonetheless, enough chitter chatter. Let's dive into the video. What it's about today is Adidas and their retroing of the Ultraboost OGs, the 1.0s. And we're gonna break out these solar yellows today. I've got both the news and the olds. We're gonna talk about them, talk about my personal opinions on whether or not Adidas should be doing this soon, break them down, go over both pairs, and see what's new, what's old, and what we prefer. And here we go. All right, so as you can see over my right shoulder right here, I do have the Solar Orange Retros. So let me break it down for you real quick. There were 3 colorways in the original Solar pack. There were the yellows, the oranges, and the reds. The reds and the oranges looked very, very, very similar originally, except the reds had a solid black cage, whereas you can see the oranges did not. They have black stripes with the orange back plate of the actual cage. For whatever reason, they decided to only retro the one colorway, probably because they were so similar, but they kind of intertwined them and made them look like one, which I'm not really with. I would, if you're gonna retro shoes, in my opinion, just retro them. You can add a few things like we'll talk about on the yellows that differentiate them from the originals. You know, like Nike has always done with the Jordans, whether it's putting Nike Air or putting the Jumpman on there, or just a little hit that makes it different. So you can see, okay, he's rocking the OGs, or he's rocking the retros, or he or she, whoever it is. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. I think if you're gonna retro the Solar lineup, we need to retro the entire lineup, all 3 pairs, all 3 colorways, and let's make sure that we keep some of the original hits. Let's make that cage on the reds all black. Let's make the cage on the oranges two-toned. Let's do that. Let's show love to the people who either got in the game late and want the old pairs, or dudes who are still beating up their original pairs and want a pair of new ones so they can keep rocking them because they appreciate that colorway so much. Regarding if I think it's too soon, I don't know, man. I don't necessarily know where to fall in that part of the argument, because it was 2015 when they dropped. It is 4 years later. And for people who do like these colorways, I rock these colorways still to this day. I still wear my original 1.0 Solar Yellows. And I am one of the, I guess, few people who take care of their shoes. You can take a look at the bottom of this shoe, and it is, by all accounts, still fairly new. I just take care of my shoes. I've taken care of everything, man. Everything that I've collected through my whole life, I take care of stuff. Now, if you pull the shoe, the insole out and take a look at everything, yes, it's been worn, but I take care of my shoes. However, shit happens. You know, you step in a mud puddle, you spill some food on your shoe, whatever it is. So when it comes to those kind of things, no, I don't think it's too soon. But in the grand scheme of like the collector's outlook, yeah, it's a little soon, I suppose. And I don't know. I guess I'm not for it, nor am I against it. That's really all I'm gonna touch on. If you guys have any comments on that particular subject, leave them down below. I'd love to have an extended dialogue with some of you, get your feedback, and kind of bounce ideas back and forth, and then we can go from there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the new shoe versus the old shoe, and I'll go ahead and break it down. For those of you who aren't familiar with the first 1.0 Solar Yellow and decided to pick up the second iteration, we'll go ahead and break them down. I'm not gonna touch too much on the oranges and reds because I sold my original oranges and reds a long time ago, and I don't really wanna talk about it because those are 2 pairs that I actually do regret selling. I don't know why I did it. It was on a whim, and now they're gone, so don't bring it up. Here is the original, and here is the retro. And I don't know if we're calling them retros, reboots, re-releases, whatever you want to call them. Obviously, that's the OG box. You've got the purple and the yellow hits with the boost all around it. You've got the triangle hits all across with the gradients and all that. We all know the original box. This is an original box. This was one of the first pairs that I ever purchased. Now here we are with the new age boost box. You got the split opening top right there. Obviously you can see the right shoe sitting in there still. Just very bland matte black. You got the size tag as always and all of that good stuff. Adidas all around it. And I think the first pair that dropped was the Washington Huskies in that box, but nonetheless, we're talking about the yellows today. So just looking at the toe box, the original 1.0s are a slightly different shade. Now I can't tell if it's because they're older and they've been in the sun and they've been worn a bit, but that could be. They are very, very, very similar, and to the naked eye, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. The knitting is fairly identical. There's not a whole lot of differences in the toe box area. Now moving up to the laces, identical laces, same black aglets, lace tips, all of that. The cages are exactly the same. You've got the two-tone black hits up top with the solar yellow backdrop. Moving up to the tongue is where the differences start to hit. You can see right there on the newer version that we do have a black Adidas Performance logo, whereas on the originals, it was a clear logo and you didn't really see it. But like I said, on the new ones, they did go ahead and give you a little black Adidas Performance logo up there. And those are the differences that I'm talking about. I really enjoy that. I think that's a good way to differentiate the shoes, because on this particular colorway, there is not a whole lot of differences. We'll come back to the back panels of the shoes, swing around to the heel cups, and as you can see, you do have the Ultraboost branding on the original 1.0 and the Ultraboost branding on the new retro version. Ultra in black, Boost in chrome, as it was on the original shoe. Again, thank you Adidas for leaving it that way. I appreciate that. We're gonna head to the outsoles where the really only major difference is, and you have the original 1.0 outsole, just your rubber Adidas Performance outsole, no co-branding, no nothing, and those outsoles do wear out very quick if you wear the shoe repetitively over and over and over and you're running on it and doing anything crazy athletic, they will run out. I've only ever really worn these shoes to the gym a few times and then just casually, which is why that is still intact. And like I said, I do take care of my stuff pretty meticulously, but I wouldn't expect a 1.0 outsole to last as long as it has if you put work into it. Now, on the new version, you do have that Continental branded outsole right there, as you can see, with the Continental rubber branding. And as we know, these outsoles do last a lot longer than the original 1.0s, which is why Adidas did go ahead and co-brand with Continental, and they have done that co-branding on several other silhouettes since then. So those are the major differences when looking at it. You've got the tongue tags and the Continental outsole. The torsion system counter is still gray on the inner part of the shoe right there, as always. And the only other real difference worth noting are the insoles. So we pull the insoles out, and as you can see, this one is worn. I'm embarrassed to even show this on camera because you got all the fuzzies all over it and all that. But as you can see it, there is the rubbed off Ultraboost branding on the heel right there and the solar yellow colorway. And now on the new Ultraboost insoles, you just have the bubble letter Boost branding right there. Aside from that, they are slightly different shades. Again, I can't tell you if that's because they've been worn or because they did go ahead and change them up. Also, this one is a lot less flimsy than this one. Again, that could be from wear and tear. I can't necessarily tell you why that's happening, but those are really the major differences. As far as wearing the shoe, it feels no different. I will tell you this, the solar pack out of the box was very snug in 2015, and it's still very snug in 2019. So if you get a pair and they're hard to get on, just know that they will not necessarily stretch out, but the materials around the ankle collar do start to give a bit, and they do start to slide a bit, you know, as your foot goes in a bit more, and it just gets easier to wear. So I wouldn't necessarily say the shoe stretches out too much. I know that's kind of the verbiage that people use when talking about the Ultraboost, but I just think it kind of gets a little more easy to get your foot in there. I think the materials get get worn up a bit, and it's easier to slide your foot in. The price point on the Ultraboost has been 180 USD since the day it dropped, and the pricing is still 180. I've always thought this shoe was a little overpriced, and I think in 4.5, 5 years since Boost hit the market, Adidas is probably at a point where we could drop that price a bit, maybe 20 bucks, 160 bucks, but I don't think they're going to. Adidas likes being a multi-billion-dollar company, and they like to see that stock price up and to the right, as all companies do. So I would never expect a price drop on these, just my personal opinion. And as far as comfort goes, the Ultraboost is, in my opinion, the comfiest shoe ever to hit the market. Still to this day, only slightly rivaled by Nike's React technology. And the Pegasus Turbo is probably the closest shoe as far as comfort goes. I still prefer the Ultraboost. That's just my opinion, but it is very close. As far as sizing goes, guys, I do recommend true to size on these shoes. I tend to pull my insole out just because I like a little more room in the shoe, not necessarily lengthwise, but I guess depth. I like my foot to sit a little bit lower in the shoe. And I've talked about a million times, there is what is called a last, which 99% of shoes on the market are built upon, and that is the structure that forms the shoe. The Ultraboost does not have that. I mean, it still has the formation, but your foot sits right on the boost underneath that insole, and the boost is enough cushion to where I don't personally need an insole, and I'll do Disneyland full day in a pair of Ultraboost and my feet feel fine. So that's just my personal opinion as far as comfort goes. Give it a try. Some people like it, some people don't, but that is my breakdown, comparison, and opinions on the retroing of the Adidas Ultraboost 1.0 OG versus retro solar yellow. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything I didn't address, always leave it in the comments down below. I do my absolute best to respond to almost every single comment that is left, every question that is asked, and I pride myself on that, guys. So if you show up on this channel and you have a question, just know that I will get around to getting back to you at some point. It is usually quick. Sometimes I lag a bit though, so keep that in mind. Other than that, guys, like and subscribe. It helps the video tremendously and it helps the channel grow. And I think that's gonna do it for me today. I will throw these on foot. You guys have always seen them, but I'll actually throw the OG on my right, the retro on my left, and you guys can take a look at them, see what they look like on foot, because they are still available on some sites for decent prices. And if not, StockX, GOAT is my preference, and you can probably get these for pretty close to retail, if not under. And that's gonna do it, guys. As always, I am RJ. Until next time, peace out.